I take a page from your playbook on the
Yep,
budget
and
date.
you abstained. Perfect. Good move. Thank you.
I thought she abstained, I think she said no.
I think I said no, yeah.
No, you said you didn't want to
I
answer.
said I have no answer.
You're right. No answer is a non-vote. Non-answer. Yeah. If you want to change it now?
No.
Okay, just checking. No problem. Because without that, you have no checks and balances in the system, and you're just rubber stamping whatever you told him to ensure that he does. And then you're just believing. No verification, just trust. Correct?
I'm not having this conversation with
What conversation?
you. Whatever it is you want me to say.
I don't have anything I want you to say.
Here's how I feel, and I'm going to tell you this right now.
Sure.
You continue to refer to our superintendent as the subordinate. He is not subordinate to anyone. He is equal to everyone on the board. He can't vote, but he is an equal member. The same way a doctor is not subordinate to a hospital board. The doctor is in charge of his medical practice and the way he does things. If the board tells him to do something wrong, he does not have to listen. And that's what Mr. Cleaver is. He is not a subordinate to this board. He is part of it. He is the one we hired as the CEO to ensure that things are going the way they're supposed to. You don't know the laws on title. I don't know the laws on title. He knows the laws on title. Mr. Tack knows the laws on title. So listening to them instead of listening to you, to me, does not mean rubber stamping. To me, that's a wise choice. And that's all I have to say about that. I will continue to listen to their recommendations until you can prove to me that you know what you're talking about, and you haven't done that yet, not even once. You have big, grandiose rants and raves and carry-ons about everything that I can't verify, that nobody can verify. You take things out of context. You take things and turn them upside down. Why would I listen to you telling me that he's doing something wrong when he's the one that's been running this operation?
You're done? You ready for my reply? Thank you. The reason you should is because it's your job. So regardless of your ability to understand all the aspects of the Title I, you should be educated enough to know what it is. For instance, I'll give a great example.
To you.
I'll give you a great example. The reality is, if you're going to delegate to him your responsibility, which it's yours, it is the district's responsibility, it's the board's responsibility to do this.
Of which he is a member.
One more time. It is the elected government's majority authority to make these decisions as to how they will comply with the Pennsylvania School Code and create their own local laws at the local level. And just as you would make sure that your subordinate, and he is a subordinate to the board, he's elected at the will of the board.
He is not.
I'm finishing. You had your turn. We can share, and we don't even have to argue, Rita. You can just look it up. But
He is not a subordinate. I did look it up.
okay. And what did you find?
He's not a subordinate.
And how did you find that? From whom?
Because I looked to see what subordinate meant.
Okay, but where did you look at it? Where did you look at it? Just a dictionary, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. But did you ask him if he's our subordinate?
He's not.
Ask him.
He's not.
Ask him.
Do you want me to read subordinate to you?
Sure.
Do you want me to read what it says?
But I'd like you to ask him. Because he has to answer honestly and truthfully.
That doesn't mean he's a subordinate.
Go
He's an
ahead.
employee. He's not a subordinate. Subordinate, lower ranking, junior, lower, lesser, inferior, lowly, minor, supporting, second fiddle. He is not that.
Okay, so also the term subordinate would be the person that you delegate your work to. He is one of your subordinates. Yes. I apologize. Look at,
Dictionary says.
good for you. Now ask him if he's a subordinate and see what he
I'm
says.
not going, I don't
Under the
think he
law.
is. I don't care what he
Under
says.
the law, let's ask him.
I don't care what he says. I don't think he is.
I understand
think
that.
he's an equal partner.
Under definition of Pennsylvania School Code, he's subordinate to the Board of Directors.
He answers
He has
to
no-
the board.
wait a
He is not subordinate.
He has no
He is not
authority.
lesser, he is not lowly, he is not minor.
Yes, he is, and here's why. Ready? He has no authority to make any decisions that you don't allow him to make. He has no authority to write a law, hire someone. He has no authority to administer these policies under any other guidelines than the ones we set for him. That's it. He does not have the authority of a board member. And when you abdicate all of that authority, rubber stamp, and blindly trust him without doing your job as
Okay, we've heard
At
this
will.
before. You got something else to say? You
Yes,
got
I
new
do.
material tonight, Dave, because we've heard this already.
I know, but you need to look this up, Rita. You have to educate yourself. I was. Mr. Cleaver, are you a subordinate to the board of directors?
I'm still waiting to hear your Title I definition you said you were going to give us.
I don't have one. So my question is, do you have a subordinate responsibility to the board of directors, sir?
That is a team of 10.
Mhm.
It's a team of 10, you believe?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then we, as a board, goes out and looks and sees whether or not we want to add things or not add things to the report.
And I
then
don't
verify.
think so, so why don't you bring it up at the board meeting? Because
I'm bringing up a policy. When policy means we're supposed to bring up.
then we're
So
gonna be a draw again, Dave.
you have no open-mindedness at all?
Do you?
Yes.
Huh.
So tell me why you don't want to do any amount of
I will not
reporting.
tell you anything.
Tell me why you don't want to not delegate all of your information to a designee that isn't even identified, have the ambiguity, and then have him insure himself.
I know.
Why do you have him insure himself?
I'm not having this conversation with you.
Why not? You're on a policy.
I told you my opinion. My opinion is bring it up in front of the whole board and see what everybody else has to say. It doesn't matter if policy makes a recommendation or not, because all of policy isn't here.
Do you understand the term ad hominem argument? Do you know what that means?
Is there anything,
Yes, there's other things to deal with. You do not run this meeting. I asked her a question. Please do not interrupt.
No,
Miss,
he is
do you know what
running
the
this
ad hominem argument is?
I'm not engaging with you anymore.
I know, you have no
because
idea.
You know my opinion.
I understand it.
That's, yeah, as you do when you don't know what's going on. I understand. And we all know that means that's the first you're hearing about
No,
it.
no, I do understand that you don't know.
is there anything else related to policy?
Yes, I have three. Authorized the purchase of those 9 books. Who's the authority, the legal authority to consume and disperse those funds for those books?
So you're telling me that the
I
board,
just asked the question. What do you understand it to be?
what do you mean, what do I understand it to
So
be?
I'm asking a question.
If 9 kids need a book
Right?
and they order 9 books,
Excellent.
the authority comes from the teacher, the principal, the business manager, whoever signed off on all of that.
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not.
okay.
The authority comes from you as a board member.
So they're supposed to call me if they need 9 books?
No, ma'am. How many years have you been on this board?
Dave,
That's
don't
not
get
the-
condescending.
I'm not constantly, I'm asking a question because I just want to answer.
I've been on as long as you, a little over a
This-
year.
Excellent, okay, so I had to learn myself. So I'll tell you what I was taught. It's not condescending, it's just verification, I don't want to go back too far. So I learned from reading the Pennsylvania School Code that the disbursement of funds is only authorized by a board. They can't go all willy-nilly, this is a government agency. We got to make sure people do it right, there's checks and balances in the system. When you abdicate your authority to write the budget, and you abdicate and rubber stamp everything you're talking about, which is what you just described, you've removed that authority. And these people, the stakeholders that gave you the money for you to be a good steward, is expecting you to do this job. And the fact that you are not, I'm trying to motivate you to do it. Or I'm going to ask for your resignation because it's
Do that
wrong.
all the time.
Because-
That's old news, Dave, and I told you that's not gonna happen, so let's skip that.
Because you need to do your job. I'm educating you to do your job. And if you don't do it, right, they can seek your removal and they have authority over you. We're subordinate to them, public servants. 10 of them can tell you that not only do you not know your job, you're not even doing your job, you're
They can tell
neglecting
you
your
the same
duty.
thing.
Say it
They
again?
can tell you the same.
Yeah, exactly right. That's why I want to make sure that we do our job by not abdicating our authority to these people without having some verification, without having some understanding of what did we abdicate right? Because right here it says you've given up the authority. You give it to them, you delegated it to someone else. In your policies, all over the place. So when you say a broken record, yeah, almost every one of our policies shows an abdication of authority without any verification. And I'm trying to correct that. I'm going to fix this government from its immoral actions that you and the other board members take. That's my we agree with that. And that ink signature should not be a physical thing they bought at Staples that says their name on it, that they push a plunger on, and it stamps their name on it, that anybody can use to sign someone else's name. Do we agree with that?
I will agree with that, but
Excellent.
we're not, we need to deal with this because it's bills, probably through finance. And
No.
again, I am
Policy.
not making a policy without
Policy.
Larry knowing what's going on.
Why? Is Larry
Because
any
there's no
more?
We
majority.
can recommend that.
Hold on a
I
second.
disagree
We both
with you.
agreed.
We have no breaking vote.
But you agreed that they shouldn't be using a rubber stamp to stamp all signatures, and you agreed that we need more than an hour,
Yeah, he is, I know.
and you agree that you need more than an hour. Yes, the bills are stamped with a stamp, sir. I've looked at them.
He agrees.
So I'm looking for more than an hour. You're not going to allow the board to have transparency?
Talk to it, tell.
You only will do
tell-
whatever Larry tells you. You can't make this decision for yourself.
I just said I would recommend it to finance
I'm
because there's a
not-
process of the bills being.
Well, no, this is
I'm
policy.
not-
We want to write a policy about transparency.
I'm not.
I'm trying to write a policy about
You
transparency.
seem to think that the board members have authority of some sort. We don't. It's you against I right now. There is no tiebreaker. There is no
I understand, but you're
majority
saying the board
of
has authority
policy
against
committee.
what, sir?
Basically, everything we talked about tonight is a moot point.
Why?
Because we don't have a majority.
There's two of
To
us.
take it to the board.
We do. Unless you're just going to
But I don't.
object to
agree.
everything I said,
Well,
regardless
yeah,
of its,
yeah, I think I'm going to.
which is
If
called
that's
an
the
ad
only way-
hominem
Is
argument.
that the only way it's gonna get you to stop?
But kind of. So the reality is, do you think that we should have more than an hour of transparency for these bills?
I'm not answering these questions.
Okay, so I'm making a recommendation. If you're going to abstain from that process, then it just passes through to the board.
I don't think.
As a recommendation.
You were saying no.
I'm saying no. I'm saying.
You're saying no then?
Not
Okay,
abstention.
you
not
gave her
abstention.
advice to say no? She's following that
No.
advice?
He
I was
didn't
making
give
a
me
clarification. because What
Clarification,
you're
appreciate
hearing
it.
is.
So I'd like to make the statement that I want the board individuals to be given at least 4 hours of access time to the invoices prior to the board's approval. Are you on board with that or not on board with that?
I'm not on board.
Not on
with
board
it.
with that.
No, it's
Is
no.
4 hours too many or is not
You
enough?
just said they should come here and give us information.
I just did.
Nobody's here. No, only you
I
did.
That's all it takes. Only takes one. And it doesn't even,
It's him.
I don't even need, yeah, it's me. I don't even need 10,000 people to tell me that the sky's not going to fall, to know that it's not going to fall. I just need one that says, here's how gravity works and the sky's not going to fall today. I don't need a consensus of individuals to make a moral decision.
No, you never do.
Correct. You don't need a consensus. You need a morality and a standard to go by. So my standard that I'm looking for the policy, the law,
What do you think?
Is
I'm gonna
morality.
vote? No,
I'm sorry?
no,
No way.
no, I don't agree with you, with your policy, take it
Okay,
in
what-
front of the board.
Thank you. So what was my request?
I don't know.
You don't even know what I just asked
No.
for? Melissa, can you at least read it so that she can then make her no statement,
Do you want me to read it?
please?
Make a policy that says any individual inside this district that does not follow direct order of the government should be reprimanded by the board.
You say no to
And I'm
that?
saying no policy isn't gonna bring that to the board. You bring it to the board. Policy committee
But
is
do you agree
not.
with that idea or not?
I voted no on policy taking it to the board.
Okay.
You take it to the board.
Last one, we have illegal use of school funds. So we have a full check and a balance. That you don't just give them, let them write the budget, and you don't let them raise it by 10%, and then ask you to raise the taxes, and you say, okay, you actually have to do your job. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I think we should adopt a policy that requires our board to act with fidelity. Just as written in Pennsylvania School Code, but on a local level.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
I'm open-minded to listen to any opportunity. Maybe in the last 15 minutes, you grew a conscience, decided to be moral, looked in the mirror, had a heart, something, I'm hoping.
Nah.
No.
Mm-mm. No,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Thank you. I move we adjourn.
Are you sure?
Have a nice day.
7:28.
We done? Anybody else have anything else?
Anything else?
Mr. Tim.